Come and save me. There are certain empaths as a consequence of their saviour cadre. Those traits of compassion, the desire to heal and fix, the trait of decency, flare up, driven by the addiction to the narcissist and the desire to save the narcissist. Although, in some instances, people who are told that they're dealing with a narcissist still try to save them, to fix them. This is because they don't understand narcissism, and/or it is as a consequence of the fact that they are blinded to the fact that they cannot achieve this and are blinded by their emotional thinking. However, more usually, what happens is that a victim, unaware that they are ensnared with a narcissist, believes that they can somehow save this broken, damaged individual, that they can change this person. Whether it is the archetypal bad boy who presents in his motorcycle leathers with his devil-may-care cocky attitude, who behaves like a dog with 6 dicks and fucks everything that moves, with the woman who thinks, I can rein him in. There's good in there somewhere. I can change him. Or whether it is coming across the bleating pity party playing mid-range type B, who bemoans the fact that the world has taken against him and the universe has cursed him, and that if only someone could save him from himself, that the world would be for him a better place. Again, there are those that fall for that, believing that they can help and change that individual. There are those, of course, that might suggest that such behaviour on the part of another to believe that they can somehow change that individual and save them is somewhat egotistical and driven by narcissistic traits, and there is force in such an argument. What actually happens, however, is that where that individual is an empath, is that there is a confluence of both the narcissistic and empathic traits. So, for instance, the narcissistic trait of pride says you need to do a good job with regard to helping this poor, downtrodden, unfortunate individual. Your empathic trait of compassion fires up. Your empathic trait of decency. Perhaps your narcissistic trait of anger at how this poor individual has been treated, or, as you've been told, apparently treated by other people. And these 4 traits, the stronger empathic ones and the presence of the narcissistic ones, all work in tandem, corrupted by your elevated emotional thinking to cause you to try and ride in there and save this poor unfortunate, who, unknown to you, is a narcissist. There are many people who take on the mantle of being the saviour, and understandably enough, it is those that cater to the saviour cadre. There will be, of course, those that will look to carry the individual, more of them being of the carrier cadre. But the point is this. Narcissists present as broken, damaged, difficult, wayward, in various guises. It might be the individual who appears to be down on his luck, unable to get a job, never given a break, resorting to living in a tented city and just can't get that one breakthrough that he requires. It might be the individual, as I've said, who is the upper lesser type A. He's the guy who's known with a reputation for being Mr. Shag around town. But there is someone who thinks, I can curtail his wayward activities. I can get him to be faithful. I can ensure that the good in him comes forth and that the bad traits are removed. They don't realize that they're dealing with a narcissist. So whether it is the desire to help the downtrodden guy who's down on his luck, the Mr. Party, the rugged motorcycle riding bad boy, or the whining individual who has just had a string of poor relationships, there will be somebody who is an empath who will come along and look to save that individual. Their interaction with that person means that their addiction kicks in. Their emotional thinking starts to rise, and it corrupts the traits that I've mentioned. They become blinded to what they're dealing with. They fail to see the relevant manipulations, the feigned helplessness of the middle ranger type B and his pity plays, the fact that the arrogance of that upper lesser type A who just carries on and comes round and is pleasant enough but then disappears onto the next woman without so much as by your leave. All of this is part of the manipulation. And of course, behind all of this is your addiction, saying, "Feed me." And it gets hold of your traits, and it obscures you to what is going on, and it makes you think that you're doing the right thing, flawed logic. It makes you feel good when you feel that you have had some degree of progress with regard to an individual, so that you believe that you have been able to help them in some way. And so that charged up battery feeling makes you feel good, so that you try all the more. What you don't realise is that your emotional thinking has blinded you to the fact that you've been ensnared with a narcissist, and that you are being manipulated, that this narcissist is drawing on you for the prime aims, and that the change that you are trying to effect, the act of saving that you have committed yourself to, is doomed to failure. Because no matter how hard you try, no matter how much of the martyr exists within your cadre, no matter how much of the burden that you shoulder and the effort that you put in to try and help, to heal, to treat, to cure this individual, you will fail. Because we cannot be cured, and we cannot be changed, and we cannot be healed. And the idea of a particular individual who is not seen as a narcissist, of course, but is seen under some other label, becomes a project. Indeed, you will find that the empath believes that they can succeed, and rather than recognizing through the application of logic, actually this is going nowhere, and these behaviors demonstrate that I'm dealing with a narcissist, they are blinded to it. They don't know about narcissism, and they continue to believe that they can make an effective change with regard to this individual, and they cannot. They continue to spend money on this individual, giving them shelter, taking them to therapy perhaps, persuading them, pleading with them, begging them to stop embarking upon what is seen as self-destructive behavior, or at least behavior which is destructive towards the relationship. But it is to no avail. There will be no meeting of success. And many of our kind unconsciously target such individuals who wish to save. And they issue, sometimes in a clear way, "Come and save me," often the mid-rangers. But even the lessers may implicitly signal, "Come and save me," without saying as such, because it appeals so much to the nature of the empath to be able to try and achieve that, to bring about that result. And all they're doing is falling into a trap that their empathic traits and some of their narcissistic traits are being corrupted by that elevated emotional thinking. So whether that narcissist expressly states, "Come and save me," or signals it implicitly, there will be an empath that will always fall for it and attempt to save that which can never be saved. And thus they embark upon a course of action which is only to their detriment, deluded by the blinded emotional thinking. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.